Hello everyone, I'm Zsófia Ritter from the Untitled Guitar Trio, and at the moment I'm working on my doctoral dissertation with Danza at the University of Pécs. The title of my dissertation is Transcribing for the Classical Guitar Trio, and today I've prepared for you a short presentation so you can follow my ideas. So, this is my guitar trio, the Untitled Guitar Trio in the last year, and actually in a concert in the Harmonia Chordis Guitar Festival, which is a wonderful memory for us in every year. And well, we hope the current virus situation resolves as soon as possible and we can be there again. So, this guitar trio we founded 6 years ago or 7 years ago with my best friends in the University of Pécs, with Álmos Tóth and Balázs Kormos. And since then, we experienced a lot of wonderful things together, concerts, festivals, and so on. But we realized at the very beginning that there are not so many compositions for classical guitar trio. So we started to create transcriptions. And since then, we have played this transcription in a lot of international festivals and a lot of competitions and so on. And we got a lot of feedbacks regarding these transcriptions, and with these feedbacks we created a repertoire which consists mainly transcriptions. So these experiences served as an inspiration or a basis for writing my thesis on describing for the classical guitar trio. The main topics of the dissertation are the playing range, the optimal case signatures, the problems concerning the number of voices, the dynamic range of the guitar trio, the long sustained notes and ornamentations, the extended techniques, and the possibilities of the various timbres of the classical guitar. As you can see, this is a huge topic and we would need a lot of time to discuss everything. So in today's presentation, I would like to just share a few key points or ideas. And for the illustration, I prepared some of our favorite transcriptions of the guitar trio. These are the Sevilla by Isaac Albeniz from the Suite Española, which is a piano composition. Then the Danza Ritual del Fuego by Manuel de Falla from El Amor Brujo, which is a composition for a symphonic orchestra. And Medve Tánc or Bear Dance by Bartók Béla, which is also a composition for a symphonic orchestra. So, first, let's talk about the playing range of classical guitar trio, and then let's see how it works in the Sevilla of Isaac Albeniz. First of all, if you look at the playing range of the classical guitar, as you know, it grows from E2 to C6, as you can see in the score. But you can extend this range by tuning the guitar differently. Here you can see the drop to D tuning. I want to show you the range of the guitar in Britain pitch and the concert pitch as well. The Britain pitch, what you see in your score, but the concert pitch is what really sounds. From this, you can see that the guitar is 1 octave deeper than you would think from the score. I know that for some of you it may be obvious, but from my experience, this thing is not obvious, sometimes even on a higher education level. So that's why I wanted to spend a few moments on this detail. Obviously, the playing range of the standard guitar trio is the same as normal 16 classical guitar, but with the use of special instruments, for example, you can extend this range in both directions. I want to extend the range downwards, then I can use an acoustic bass guitar that has a range from E1 to F4, as you can see on the score. And it has the advantage of the very, very deep registers, but especially compared to a normal guitar, classical guitar, but it has a disadvantage that its playing technique is a little different than normal classical guitar. For example, its strings are thicker and also your nails wear out much faster. Then the frets are very far from each other and normal fingerings are usually not working. So also the acoustic bass guitar has their own advantages and disadvantages. if you want to find the middle ground between this acoustic bass guitar and the classical guitar, you can think about using an A-string guitar, or a 10-string guitar, or a 12-string guitar, and so on. The special type of guitars has the advantage of the familiar playing technique compared, for example, to the bass guitar, and you can go very deep. But after a certain point, the resonation of the open strings can become a huge, huge problem. You have to take care of the damping of the strings all the time, and that's not always manageable. So I think you have to find a healthy balance for yourselves. In our trio, our chosen healthy balance is the A-string guitar, which is used by Amos, as you can see at the picture. And as you can see, A-string are still manageable since he can also play a percussion instrument while playing on the guitar. So, as you can see in the score, the deepest note of this guitar is the A1, which is a perfect fifth deeper than normal classical guitar. In this guitar, you can play normal classical guitar pieces, but it can provide this extended range in a chamber ensemble. If you would like to extend the range higher, we can use an octave guitar that sounds exactly 1 octave above a classical guitar, or, for example, a mandolin, which is comparable in height to the octave guitar. Here is the score, and as you can see in the score, the octave guitar goes from E3 to approximately A6. The mandolin goes from G3 to A6. But I have to mention that these instruments have a very, very thin voice at the upper registers, so these are used only rarely. In the picture, here, you can see us playing a Renaissance piece in one of our latest concerts in July in Hungary. And Balázs is playing on his mandolin, Amos is playing on his 8-string guitar and on a tambourine. And I'm the only normal person who plays in a normal 6-string guitar. So, as you can see, if the transcription demands it, we use both the 8-string guitar and the mandolin. And with this, we can extend our range to approximately 5 octaves. As you can see on the score, here's the score, it goes from A1 to A6, so here's the 5 octaves. For comparison, an orchestra or a piano has a playing range, as you know, of approximately 7-8 octaves. So we are still missing 2 octaves, but we are a little closer with the guitar trio. This increase in range is quite important, I think. If you think about transcriptions, it's much easier to make a transcription of a composition with big playing range to comparable range. Of course, it takes more time and effort to make these 3 instruments, on 8-string guitar, mandolin, and normal guitar, sound as a coherent ensemble, as a normal ensemble. There are many problems. You have to take into account the different volumes, the different timbres of the instruments, and so on. But I think that with the extra playing range and the extended possibilities of the timbre, we can make way more transcriptions that we otherwise would, and for these reasons, I think it's worth the extra time and effort. Now let's take a look how this extended range works in practice. In the following example, I will show you a little segment of the transcriptions of the Ventichiavi guitar trio, the Sevilla of Isaac Albeniz. We made these transcriptions a few years ago, and we tried to use the deep strings of the 8 strings of Amos to reproduce the effects of different registers. Here you can see it. A good example for this extended range will be this part here. So we are at the middle of the first part of the Sevilla, just before the return to the original key. And as you can see here, the deep register of the dominant chord also the dominant, creates a good contrast with a much lighter tonic area. Here is the tonic area. And I think without these deeper strings, we would be forced to play the bass an octave higher, obviously, which I think absolutely destroys this good contrast between this dominant and this tonic area. But now let's listen to the short part. Then also in this piece, we can find another interesting example here. So we are at the middle section of the second part of the piece, and we can find here an extreme end of the guitar register at the bar number 96. As you can see, we reach the highest C in the classical guitar, and it's used together with a relatively low bass. This effect is interesting because obviously it wouldn't be possible in a single guitar. And since we play the melody in octaves here, it wouldn't be possible even in a guitar duo. So the guitar trio is the best solution. And this octave doubling is the other interesting thing I would like to mention. Because if we look at the original piano composition, we can see that the octave doubling is missing. Regardless, with the guys, we decided to continue the doubling here because it follows from the logic of the music. It may seem weird that we add extra notes that the composer didn't write, but Albanese used it previously where it is comfortable to the piano player, and we decided to continue this, this instrumentation. And I think if you look at the previous parts, we can see that even Albanese would have continued octave doubling if he had the opportunity. But I think to understand it better, let's listen to this part. The second transcription segment I would like to show you is the ritual fire dance, or Danza ritual del Fuego, from Manuel de Falla. First of all, the most interesting motifs in this piece, I think, is the long crescendos and decrescendos on a trill. Here you can see in the orchestra version. The viola, the contrabass, and the clarinets are doing a very, very long trill. In the case of bow and wind instruments, a trill is basically a continuous note with rapidly changing pitch. But if we want to adapt this to the guitar, we must try to imitate, or I don't know, fake a continuous note that can be controlled to make a crescendo or a decrescendo. As you probably know, on the guitar, this could be a difficult task. We have two possible solutions for a trill: the one string with the left hand or the two string with the right hand. The left hand trill is perhaps more natural, but its disadvantages. The intensity of the sound cannot go beyond a certain limit. And in the case of this piece, I think it's not strong enough because we have to do a crescendo to a forte. So with the trio, we decided to pick the other solution, the two-string trill. Since we use our right hand the whole time, we can control the dynamics much better. Also, the two strings sound at the same time, so we have a dissonance. And this is good, I think, because in the original version, the orchestra players are obviously not doing the trill perfectly together. So they also play a dissonance, which is, I think, part of the composition. And now let's see this solution in practice. And let's listen to our recording of the beginning of this piece. This was recorded last year at the final round of the Domodossola guitar competition. Lastly, I want to talk about a little bit some extended guitar techniques, and I would like to show how we use it in a transcription of Béla Bartók's Danza. In this case, the extended technique is the so-called crossing strings technique, and it has multiple different uses. Sometimes it's used as a reference to church bell, sometimes it's used for its ugly or aggressive sound, but in this case, in this piece, it's used for the snare drum effect. As you can see on the score, the original composition contains snare drums with wires called concorda, and without wires, senza corda. And when the composer asks for snare drums with wires, we switch to the crossing string technique. This technique itself is not new, and it's used in many solo guitar compositions, but for me, the interesting thing is combining this effect with the traditional sound of the guitar. And I think this can be easily done in trio. And now I would like to show you how it works. So, for me, the easiest way to crossing the string is to grab the string with my left finger strongly, then pulling it over the higher string, and then it's very important to press the string to the fret. There is one very important thing that you should remember, that this technique distorts the pitch. So, for example, if you need a G, you have to compensate, and you have to do the crossing string technique approximately 2 frets below. But this composition changes for each guitar and each note, so you have to experiment. So, thanks for your attention. This was a little taste of my dissertation. I hope you enjoyed it, and now I would like to share with you a recording of the Danza, which was made last year at the GFA guitar competition at the gala concert. Have a nice day. Bye.